The day King Charles dies, Camilla loses far more than a husband. She was never an owner, she was a guest, and none of this was ever about jewelry. The jewels are the smallest part. The moment he is gone, she loses the world she lives inside. The estates, the vaults, the keys to doors only she can open. Every one passes to Catherine. These rules were written long before Camilla walked in. They have waited years for this day. Number 14 is an estate that was never legally hers. We count all 20. And wait for number 7. Not a jewel, not a house. Deeply personal. Giving it back is the day she dreads most. Let us begin. Number 1, Buckingham Palace. The biggest door first. 775 rooms, 42 acres of gardens, the most famous address in Britain. And Camilla doesn't own a single brick of it. Crown property held in trust by the Crown Estate. The reigning monarch decides who lives there. When Charles dies, William decides who stays and who goes. He's already told GB News he plans to use Buckingham Palace as a public venue, not a private home. Camilla's bedroom, her study, her dressing room, all reassigned by Diana's son. Diana was never invited to make this palace her home. Camilla was. And now the guest is being asked to leave by the son of the woman who was never allowed through the door. And the second treasure is where the guest goes next. Except she doesn't, because William already lives there. Number 2, Windsor Castle, 1,000 years of monarchy in one building. The oldest occupied castle in the world, belongs to the nation, not to Camilla. Camilla and Charles spend most weekends there. It's their closest thing to normal life. But William already lives on the Windsor estate at Forest Lodge. The castle is in his backyard. When the rain changes, Camilla loses the weekend home, the private chapel, the long walk she strolls on Saturday mornings. Think about that for 1 second. Diana's funeral procession drove down that same long walk in 1997. The path Camilla walks for pleasure. Diana's coffin traveled in grief. Catherine will walk it as queen. And the third treasure is the one Camilla wore on her head in front of 2 billion people. It went straight back to a vault, and it's never coming out for her again. Number 3, Queen Mary's crown, May 6, 2023. Westminster Abbey, 2 billion people watching, 2,200 diamonds set in silver and gold, made by Gerard for the 1911 coronation of King George V. The Royal Collection Trust confirmed it was modified for Camilla with the Cullinan 3, 4, and V diamonds. Stones Queen Elizabeth wore as brooches for decades. Stones the family calls Granny's chips. The palace described the decision as sustainability and efficiency. They didn't make a new crown for Camilla. They recycled one, modified it, lent it to her for one afternoon, and after the ceremony it went straight back to the Tower of London. It's behind glass right now, on public display. Camilla wore it for a few hours on one day. Catherine will wear it next, and the 2,200 diamonds that sat on Camilla's head will sit on the head of the woman who already wears Diana's ring, Diana's earrings, and Diana's Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara. I really want to get to treasure 7. That's the one Camilla fought 17 years to get, and it leaves her the second Charles stops breathing. But first, 4 through 6, because those 3 prove something most people never think about. Everything Camilla has worn as queen belongs to someone else. Every stone, every brushstroke, every frame on every wall, borrowed, all of it. The 4th treasure is the crown the whole country watches her wear once a year. And once a year, it goes straight back to the vault. Number 4, the George IV diadem. The crown Camilla wears to the state opening of Parliament, made for George IV's coronation in 1820. 200 years of queens and queen consorts have worn this crown. Queen Adelaide, Queen Victoria, Queen Alexandra, Queen Mary, the Queen Mother, and Queen Elizabeth for 70 years. The country knows this diadem better than almost any other piece of royal jewelry. Elizabeth wore it on stamps, on coins, on the journey to her own coronation, and it belongs to the crown, not to Camilla. The day Charles dies, Catherine wears it to the next state opening. The image the country carries of Camilla in that diadem gets replaced. Same crown, different woman, the woman who wears Diana's ring, and the 200 years of queens who wore it before Camilla won't remember she was one of them. The fifth doesn't sit on a head. It sits in a vault, and it's the most valuable gem collection on Earth. Number 5. The Cullinan Diamonds, the largest gem-quality diamond ever found. Over 3,100 carats before it was cut into 9 major stones. 3 of those stones, the Cullinan III, IV, and V, were reset into Queen Mary's crown for Camilla's coronation. They are crown property, every single stone. When the reign changes, all 9 return to the royal collection. Catherine gains the right to wear them. The diamonds that sat against Camilla's hair will sit against Catherine's. Diana never got near these diamonds. She was never trusted with them. Catherine will inherit the access Diana was denied, and the 6th treasure isn't a diamond at all. It's a billion-pound collection that covers every wall of every room Camilla has walked through for 20 years. Number 6. The Royal Collection. Over 1 million objects, 7,000 paintings, Vermeers, Rembrandts, Canalettos, Leonardo da Vinci's, held in trust for the nation by the Royal Collection Trust. Camilla walks past them every morning in every palace corridor. She eats breakfast beneath them. She hosts dinners surrounded by them. She has spent 2 decades living inside one of the greatest art collections ever assembled. And she doesn't own a single brushstroke. Not one frame, not one sketch. When the reign changes, the paintings stay on the walls, the sculptures stay on the tables, the drawings stay in the vaults, and Camilla leaves. The art doesn't follow the guest, it stays in the house. Diana understood this. She left the palaces knowing the walls would stay the same after she walked out. Camilla hasn't left yet, but the walls aren't going with her. Stay with me. Because treasure 7 is the one the intro promised. Not a jewel, not an estate. It's the one thing Camilla fought longest and hardest for. And the day Charles dies, it walks out of the room. Number 7. The title Queen. If you've spent decades watching Camilla collect titles she never earned, this is the one. The day Charles dies, Camilla stops being Queen Camilla. She becomes the Queen Dowager. Think about that word for 1 second, dowager. The word queen in front of her name was always conditional. It depended on one man being alive. The public never fully accepted it. YouGov January 2026, 42% positive, 45% negative. She lobbied for 17 years. Operation PB. Managed introductions. 30 years of rehabilitation designed to turn a mistress into a queen. And the day Charles dies, it leaves her. Catherine becomes Queen Catherine. The title Camilla spent her adult life chasing walks across the room and lands on Diana's daughter-in-law. Diana was stripped of her HRH in the divorce. She died without the country ever calling her queen. But her son's wife will hear it every day. And the woman who replaced Diana will stand in the background wearing a prefix nobody uses. That's not a jewel being returned. That's a 30-year project deleted in an afternoon. And treasure 8 is the one that carried the crown to the abbey. Literally. Number 8, the Gold State Coach. Built in 1762, 4 tons, 24 feet long, gilded in gold leaf, used at every coronation since William IV. Crown property, housed at the Royal Mews. Camilla rode in it on May 6, 2023. Waved from the window, smiled for the cameras. The next person to ride in it will be Catherine. Same gilded door, same velvet seats, different queen. I really want to get to treasure 20. That's the one that flips this entire list on its head. But first, 9 through 19. Because those 11 treasures are the rooms Camilla sleeps in. The money she spends, the staff who dress her, and the officers who protect her. And every single one has someone else's name on the receipt. Treasure 9 isn't about a building. It's about a rejection. And it tells you everything about what William thinks of Camilla's world. Number 9, Clarence House. The London residence where Charles and Camilla lived for years. Owned by the Crown, assigned by the monarch. Charles proposed to Camilla in the drawing room. They hosted their first public reception there. It was the house that made their relationship permanent. The house where the institution accepted the woman who broke Diana's marriage. And William rejected it. He chose Kensington Palace instead. Apartment 1A. The rooms where Diana lived and raised her boys, where she tucked William and Harry into bed, where she cried alone after the Dimbleby interview. William moved into his dead mother's home and left Camilla's behind. Camilla knows what that choice means for every building she occupies. Number 10, the sovereign grant. This is the money. £86.3 million a year. Every dresser, every driver, every foreign trip, every state dinner gown, funded by the sovereign grant. It flows from the Crown estate through Parliament to the reigning monarch. When Charles dies, every pound flows to William. Camilla's entire publicly funded lifestyle depends on whether Diana's son keeps funding it. Diana lost her protection in the divorce. She lost the drivers, the infrastructure. She died 12 months later without any of it, in a tunnel, in Paris. The woman who replaced her has lived on public money for 20 years. And the man who decides that money's future is the boy who walked behind Diana's coffin. And treasures 11 and 12 are the ones you picture every year. Christmas morning, summer in the Highlands. Both belong to William the day Charles dies. Number 11, Sandringham. Christmas, the walk to church, the children in their coats, the tree, the crackers, the family photograph you see every year on the front pages. Sandringham is the monarch's private estate in Norfolk, 20,000 acres. Charles inherited it from his mother. William inherits it next. Camilla loses Christmas. Not the holiday, the house, the chapel, the table. Diana spent her last Sandringham Christmas in 1991. She never went back. Catherine will host Christmas there as queen, and the woman who replaced Diana at that table will need an invitation from Catherine to sit at it again. Number 12, Balmoral, summer. The Highlands, 50,000 acres, the monarch's private Scottish estate. Queen Elizabeth died at Balmoral on September 8, 2022. Charles inherited it. William inherits it next. Camilla loses the summer. 12 treasures, 2 palaces, a crown, a diadem, the largest diamond ever found, a £1 billion art collection, the title Queen, a gilded coach, a London home, the annual budget, Christmas, summer, all borrowed, all passing to Catherine, and there are still 8 left, and Treasure 13 proves the machinery of the monarchy is already moving toward William, before Charles has even gone. Number 13, the Royal Mews, the horses, the carriages, the Diamond Jubilee coach, all belong to the Crown, already being relocated from Buckingham Palace to Windsor under William's direction. GB News confirmed the move in February 2026. The carriages that carried Camilla to the coronation are already parked on William's estate. Diana rode in those carriages on her wedding day in 1981. The next woman to ride in them as queen will be Catherine. And now, Treasure 14. The estate the intro promised, the one that was never legally hers. And the answer is the one most people have never put together. Number 14, Highgrove. Charles's beloved country home, the garden he built by hand for 40 years, the house where Camilla probably feels most at home in the world. Here's what most people miss. Highgrove sits inside the Duchy of Cornwall. The duchy transferred to William on September 8, 2022. Charles rents Highgrove from his own son now, around £700,000 a year. Think about that for 1 second. Camilla goes to sleep every night in a house that has belonged to Diana's son for nearly 4 years. The garden Charles planted is maintained by the estate William controls. The rent arrives with William's name at the top. The landlord is the boy whose mother she replaced. Diana never had a Highgrove. She was given a flat in Kensington Palace and told to be grateful. Camilla got a country house, 40 years of gardens, and a view of the Cotswolds. Not one stone of it was ever hers. But the next 3 are the ones Camilla feels every time she gets dressed, every time she walks through a door, every time she steps outside. Number 15, the tiaras. Every tiara Camilla has worn as queen, the Greville, the Boucheron, the sapphires, is crown property. Loaned to the consort, not gifted, not inherited, loaned. When the consort changes, the tiaras go back. Catherine already wears Diana's Cambridge lover's knot, Diana's most photographed piece. The rest of the collection follows the moment William takes the throne. Number 16, the household staff, the dressers, the private secretary, the ladies-in-waiting, the butlers, all funded by the sovereign grant. When the grant moves to William, the staff move with it. Camilla doesn't keep anyone the crown isn't paying for. Number 17, the protection detail, Metropolitan Police, armed officers, 24-hour security, all state-funded. Diana lost hers in the divorce. She died 12 months later in a tunnel in Paris, running from photographers, without one protection officer in the car. Camilla has had full crown protection for 20 years. Whether she keeps any of it depends on Diana's son. 3 treasures left, and these are the ones the country will watch happen. Number 18, the balcony, center spot, Buckingham Palace, the most visible square meter in Britain. Every jubilee, every coronation, every royal wedding, Camilla has stood there in the center next to the crown, the country watching. The day Charles dies, that spot belongs to Catherine. She'll stand there with William, with George, Charlotte, Louis, Diana's grandchildren, in the center of the frame. The spot Diana occupied on her wedding day, the spot Camilla took at the coronation, the spot Catherine takes next. And the woman who replaced Diana moves to the edge of the frame, or she doesn't appear at all. Number 19, the coronation robes, the robe of estate, the Bruce Oldfield gown with Camilla's children, grandchildren, and dogs embroidered into the hem. Returned to the royal collection. She wore it once. It doesn't go home with her. It goes into a glass case with a plaque. Worn at the coronation of King Charles III, May 2023. Past tense, behind glass, done. And treasure 20, the last one. Except this one Camilla doesn't lose. She keeps it. And that's the part that tells you everything about the 19 that came before. Number 20, Ray Mill House. This is where the whole list flips. Ray Mill House, Wiltshire. Camilla bought it in 1996 for £850,000 with her own money after her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles. It is the only property on this entire list that was ever truly hers. Not crown property, not duchy land, not assigned by the monarch, not borrowed, not loaned, not conditional on anyone being alive, hers. She's recently transferred it into her children's names, and that single decision tells you she knows exactly what's coming. She knows the palaces are borrowed, the castles are borrowed, the crowns, the diamonds, the coaches, the horses, the tiaras, the paintings, the staff, the protection, the balcony, the title, all borrowed. Every night she spent as queen was spent in someone else's house, wearing someone else's crown, surrounded by someone else's art, funded by someone else's grant, standing on someone else's balcony. She was a guest for all of it. Ray Mill is the one door that's hers, the one set of keys Diana's son doesn't hold. Diana lost everything, her home, her title, her protection, and her life, and she never had a Ray Mill to fall back on. She died with nothing, and the woman who took Diana's place received everything Diana was denied: the palaces, the crown, the title, the funding, the balcony, the Christmas. And the only piece that was ever really Camilla's was a house in Wiltshire she bought with her own money 30 years ago. 19 borrowed treasures, one that was hers. The day Charles dies, the 19 go to Catherine, and Camilla goes to Ray Mill, and the door closes behind her, and Diana's son holds the keys to everything else. Those were the 20 royal treasures Camilla will hand to Catherine. 19 that were always borrowed, and one that was always hers. The line to Catherine was written before Camilla ever walked through any of those doors, and every door opens for Diana's daughter-in-law the moment they close on Camilla. The 20 warnings Diana left for William about Camilla are the reason those doors close the way they do. If you want to see those 20 warnings, that video is right here.